Grand Rising, Grand Rising. While I try to get into my accounts, Grand Rising. This is another set of Clubhouse. All right, let's see if we can get in on this now. We're about to enter. Wait a minute. Why my halo? Get this halo right. Halo. All right, so now, 7 a.m. 7 a.m. We are about to go into the Clubhouse. Grand Rising, Grand Rising, and Grand Rising. All right, so let me get in here because I know Princess is going, where is she? Where is she? All right, so let me get into this Clubhouse. Before I do this, I need to make sure my little speaker is set up so that everybody can be heard. Let's see. Grand Rising, everybody. I want to thank you all for joining us. I know y'all like, well, you should have just set this up before you went to sleep. I know, that would have been better. All right. So, I don't know, I'm not seeing properly today. I try to make sure, oh, here we go. Here we go. Make sure we hear our Clubhouse peoples. All right, that's on, and we are connecting.
Bluetooth connected.
All right, we're connected. Boo boo. Grand Rising, Divine. What y'all doing up so early? Al Tariq Day. What are y'all doing up so early? All right, so I'm going to go out of here so I can get back into Clubhouse. And let's run this thing today. We are talking about, oh God, you devil. Oh God, you devil. What does it mean to be a God? We are talking about the universal law of duality today. So let me get into this Clubhouse and let Princess rock and roll, because I know she's going, where are you, Diva? Where are you? Here we go.
Oh, what's up, Diva? Good morning, Diva. Oh, I'm saying,
Grand Rising, Grand Rising.
Finally made it.
Hey, Jason. Click Casey is in the house.
Right.
He's with us. He's just in transit.
All right. All right. We're going to have a lot of transit. Look at all these hearts in here. Shakur is in the house. Who else is in the house? Al Tariq, Divine's here. All right. So let's rock and roll this morning. Princess, you ready to set us up?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Grand Rise, everyone. Thank you for rising and joining us. This morning, we are with Diva Marie from UNA University in the UNA Law Club on Clubhouse and live on Facebook. We want to thank you for taking out your time, your mind, your energy to listen to us today. We ask you, if you have questions here in the audience, to raise your hand. We'll bring you up to the stage, and you may ask those questions when Diva calls upon you to speak. We thank you for joining us. We welcome healthy dialogue. Let's have some healthy dialogue. Let's have some fun. And it's back to you. Oh, no. Remember.
Wake up.
Remember.
Wake up.
Man, I tell you what. Yeah. So, remember, pen, a notebook, and pay attention. Back to you, Diva.
Princess still got that Barry White going on. All right. Grand Rising, Grand Rising. All right, so now we're talking once again about, oh God, you devil. Now, we've been dealing with learning to stand as a God, learning to walk as a God, and what that means. And we've got to come to recognize and understand that, yes, we all have powers. And A lot of people don't want to admit this, and that's okay. That's understandable about who we are as gods. Now, when we say the phrase, "Oh God, you devil," we have to go and understand what it means to be a god. And what that means is that you are in control of everything in your dimension. It comes from your own energies. Everything that happens comes from your own energies. Period and point blank. And we start to recognize that, and then we can control what's going on in our dimension. All right? And so, in understanding that everything comes from your energies, what you have to start to understand is that you are responsible not only for the good, but for the bad as well. So just like you say, "Oh yeah, I'm a god," well, you are also the devil. And I recognize that. That means that if there's anything negative coming into my existence or my dimension, I did it. So a lot of people want to think that, claiming that you're a god is, a chest beating thing. "Oh, yeah, I'm a god." No. You want to recognize also that you are the devil as well. And so it's a very humbling experience, because now you don't have any more excuses. The excuses go right out the door. "Oh, well, this happened. My dog ate my homework, and my cat pooped on this," and you don't have no more excuses. Because you are the one who's controlling it. If there's something that you want to do in your dimension, for example, something that maybe, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's not happening, it is all on you. And the problem is, a lot of us want to rely on our excuses. "Oh, we didn't get this done because, these people was blocking us over here, and these people was doing that." Well, yeah, that's you doing that. And so that becomes very difficult for a lot of us to deal with, because we are used to having somebody else to blame. All right, we're ready to get on this because, a lot of people want to still say, "Oh, racism and this and that and that." Well, then we're going to understand what's really going on, because everything is an energy. That includes racism. Okay, because now I have to take it back, because a lot of people will say, "Well, how did we cause racism and all this?" Y'all got to remember that you are gods. That's what you're claiming to be. Then you want to remember that this is not your first time here. You've been here before, and you have put out energies before in other vessels. And so if we're recognizing that and understanding that, then we have to be cognizant of the energies that we're receiving now that come from another time. When we're talking about karmic baggage, that's what we're talking about. My ancestors did this, and that's why we getting 400 years, and I'm using my quotes, 400 years of slavery. All right, that is, you got to remember, you are your ancestors. So as we get into this thing and we start to recognize, okay, the energies that are coming upon me are energies that I put out, that I created. Then once we are willing to respect that and understand that we are the ones who are creating the energy, then this is when we can change our whole dimension. Because now it's not about, "Oh, well, somebody's trying to block me for this reason and they're trying to block me for that." No, what we need to recognize, they're just bringing an energy. Once we clear up the spiritual side and the spiritual baggage, these people over here go away. These energies go away. So I'm going to go into some history today. Abdullah, what's going on? I'm going to go into some history today. And because we're going to get into what's going on with melanated folks. We're going to be able to get into what's going on with women. We're going to be able to get into what's going on with children and a lot of this stuff that's going on. And we got to recognize if we're going to call ourselves gods, we better recognize the devil in us too, because everything has duality. And I'm going to read the universal law of duality, because it's very important. It's one of those laws that when we recognize it, we learn to manifest using that law. Universal law of duality. One of the 12 universal laws. If you don't have it, you can go to unarepublic.com/docs, D-O-C, and download that. unarepublic.com/docs, and download that. Now, so it's known as the law of polarity, a law of duality. And what it states is all things possess the ability to be positive or negative, depending on the mind using said thing. A knife can be used as a tool to help or a weapon to harm. So all things have duality. Just like, a penny or any kind of coin, it has two sides. It's going to have two sides. And so in understanding that, the same thing goes for when you say, oh, I'm a God. Well, you also are the devil. Because as a God, you're creating the things that are in your dimension. And if those things are negative, you have done it. You have done it. That means you are the devil as well. All right? So we know that, when you're going to accept that term, you better respect and accept the shadow side that goes with it. The shadow side. All right? So now, let's see. Now, if you all have any questions in the Facebook room, please let me know if you have questions. We're going to talk about this. We're going deep into some history today. We're going to talk about some flat Earth and round Earth. We're going to talk about what's going on, what's really taking place with us with respect to being gods and standing as that, what it means, and how, how we want to make sure that we don't circle back into this place where we are, because we've been here before. We have been here before at this point where we're ready to come up out of this game, and then we end up circling back. Why? Because, we didn't recognize what it meant to be a God. We're going to talk about these human vessels and what they really are. Who created them? And how we are all linked with the creators of this vessel, because we are the creators of these vessels. All right, Princess, I'm going to want you to come on and let's do a reset. And then we're going to go into it. Now, if y'all have any questions, hello, Kirsch. Thank you for joining us. If y'all have any questions, I want you all to ask some questions. But we're going to get deep today. Come on, Princess.
All right. Well, grand rise and good awakening. Thank you for joining us here live in the UNA Law Club and in Facebook land. We want to thank you for listening in on Diva Laree from UNA University. DNA. Oh, hold it.
Wake up. Get your coffee together.
Give a words together. Yeah, UNA University. Okay, so once again, thank you for joining us here in the UNA Law Club on Clubhouse and there in Facebook land. We are live with Diva Laree from UNA University, and we're speaking on Oh God, You Devil You, Universal Law of Duality. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't already done so, be sure to click the greenhouse in the upper left corner and join the club. This will keep you abreast of future events as they arise. Additionally, click that plus sign in the bottom right corner and ping as many friends as you can into the room to join us on today's discussion. After the discussion, the floor will be open for communication, and you can raise your hand and enter the stage and ask your question. Once you're on the stage, be sure to mute your mic. Diva will call on you when she's ready for you to speak.
and let us know you're done by saying I'm complete, or that's my question, or I'm done speaking. We thank you for joining us again. Facebook, you guys put it in the comment section. We got you. Thank you. Back to you, Diva.
All right. Well, Princess didn't say it today, but pay attention. Pay attention, because we're going into this and understanding what it means in becoming a God. All right. And so I want to go into this because we talk about, this DNA that's turning on within us. We talk about how we're coming into this new consciousness. All right. So it's important for us to understand and recognize what's going on in this time. Now I'm gonna start here with the DNA because I want to talk about this. Thank y'all for the love. KL's in the house. Love it. Al Tariq, Shakur, Darlene, thank y'all for joining us. Now, Rudolph is in the house. Adula. So I want to, if y'all have some questions, please put them up. Let's see. How do I keep balance between devil and God? They both, to me, have uses, right? Yes, Shakur. Yes. Everything has its reason and its place. And I'm going to go into that question actually right now. How do you keep the balance? All right. Now, when I first got into this and learning who we were, because it was a gradual thing, because I found out, we were royalty. And then I'm walking with a pimp, with a swag. Because I'm like, we're royalty. And then as I keep going on, then I find out, wait a minute, we're something even grander than that. And then I'm finding out, wait a minute. We are controlling everything in our dimension, so we're gods. And so as, I came into that and I began to look around at my surroundings, and I realized, wait a minute, this has got to do with my energies. Then I started to feel a sense of responsibility, a sense of humbleness, because of the simple fact that, wait a minute, I did this. And it was, I'm looking at the things that were not right. And so it was, okay, now I have to, find a way to do my part to make it better. All right. That's, really, then I started to realize there's no more excuses. There's no more blaming somebody else for what's going on, some outside source, because all of this is you. Everything you're looking at is really you. It's just a reflection of you, what's going on inside you. So once I got there, again, now there's a whole other sense of responsibility. There's that sense that you can't be blaming someone else for things going on outside. What am I talking about? I ain't got enough money to get this. Well, then the problem is you. This happened over here because, and I wanted to do this. The problem is you. If you can think it, then you can make it happen. You just got to be strong enough and mentally strong enough to do it. So that's what we're talking about when we're saying you're the God. Now, balancing that is no joke, because there are times when you want the devil to come out, and it is not easy keeping that in place. What am I talking about? When you have people who are coming at you, you have to remember, wait a minute. These people are just giving me a reflection of the energies that I put out. See, I got to go into this. When we have somebody down the line who are, let's say it's a cop, because I get this one all the time. Cop. And I've had, these people come at me and they tell me for example, this one guy, he comes at me and he's like, well, what about when the cop comes at you? And then, because I had this cop come at me, and I'm a young black man, and he just came at me because he was racist, and he was trying to tell me he gonna search my car, and I ain't want him to search my car, but I got out the car and he searched the car because he thought he was gonna find some drugs, but he ain't find no drugs. So now, now he looking at me and he looking stupid because he thought I was gonna have drugs. Okay, he's going on about this, and I'm listening to this scenario, and what I'm knowing is that this is an energy that he brought on. He brought this energy on. And so he can't see it. Only thing he sees is racism. He just sees racism. And so what ends up happening is I had to ask him, I was like, tell me about that child in your house, possibly your son, who you accused of having something, and you went through his things. And once you did that, you realized you were wrong. Tell me about that child. Tell me about what went on with that incident. And he got real quiet. He got real quiet. Why? Because I was right. Well, how do I know? Because I know the law. I know that everything is an energy. I know that. It's not racism that we see it as racism. No, what it is an energy that you put out somewhere else. And so now he's got to sit down and recognize that he created this energy with the cops. So what we think is that when we create an energy, that it comes right back from the person who we put it on. That's not how these energies work. And so when we understand that as gods, that we're creating these energies, then we can be more respectful and mindful when we put an energy out. So now here this guy is, he's put this energy out on his child, and it doesn't come back from his child. It comes back from somebody who can deliver the same energy and emotion on him that he delivered to that child. His child can't give it to him, but the spirits in the universe know your triggers. You know your own triggers. You brought that energy. You needed to experience the same energy that you put out on this child over here from somebody else, because only this cop can give it to you. So here this cop is coming to you, treating you like, hey, I'm going to search your car. I'm going to treat you like a child. And all you see is racism, when the truth is that's you who created it. You created that. So now what I'm talking about is balancing it and recognizing that on this end, when you're getting these energies from people, not to return that negative energy. Because, yeah, it's when the cop is coming at you in that way, yeah, you want to be... you want to stand up. You want, hey, I'm not having, you want to give them a negative energy. Well, you got to balance it, because you got to recognize, okay, where did I put this energy out? Where did I cause this to come up upon me? Because remember, you're the God. Ain't no excuses over here. Ain't no excuses over here. Where did this come from that I caused it? Okay. And understand, I just wanted to make a note because I need to bring something up later on. But where did this come from? So when we're talking about balancing, what you want to recognize is when energies come upon you in this dimension, you got to recognize, I have created it. How am I going to react to it? How am I going to react to it? And so, what you want to make sure you don't do, because, I get a lot of people, listen, yeah, we're coming into understanding we're gods, but we also need to not be angry gods. We've been here before. I'm going to keep saying it, because some of y'all think, oh, this is my first time, and you forgetting who you are as a god. You've been here before. So what you don't want to be is an angry god. Because you're going to circle back through this mess. You put that energy out over here to this cop who's giving you hell because you gave hell to your child. Well, you're going to get that energy back. You're going to just keep circling. That's not what we want. So You want to balance it by making sure that when you see this energy, that you recognize it for what it is. Your creation. Recognize it for what it is. It is your creation. How am I going to deal with this energy in such a way that I don't cause another negative energy to come back on me? That's when you're truly starting to stand as a righteous God. Do I have any questions? Yes, I am so angry. It bothers me somehow. Listen, I understand. When we first start understanding what this situation is that we're in with respect to this birth certificate and how this whole system is playing us and the lies that we have been told, when we start understanding that, I can understand we're angry. We're angry. Because we have been lied to. But remember who you are. This is an energy over here. Where did it come from? Remember how we talked about our ancestors and 400 years of slave? 400, which is BS, BS, and BS. Yes, that's where I said it. I'm going to get into that in a few. But when we're talking about that, yeah, our ancestors did some dirt. We lied to a group of people. We made a group of people subservient. You know, we enslaved a group of people. Yes, we did. The Albion. Y'all, some people want to call them Indo-European. Some people want to call them white. No, but melanated people did some stuff to the Albion. And that is a vessel that was created and by us. And now when we wonder about that creation now, that is now running the game, or so it looks like they're running the game. They're really not. There's somebody else doing this puppetry. But you got to understand, this is a situation that we created. And so how do we come out of it? We talk about getting our energies right by recognizing first what we did, that this is an energy over here, recognizing it, and then repenting for it. See, that's why all this stuff in the Bible about repent. And then, you know, you got the Catholics that go into this box and they talking to this guy on the other end, and you are absolved of all your sins and all this. Okay, that's real. That's real. That's recognizing and taking responsibility for your energies that you put out. Once you do that, then your whole mind will shift. Your whole world will shift. Your whole DNA will shift when we take responsibility for the energies that we put out. And that's what we're doing. That's where we are. We're learning as we stand in this Godship that we're not victims. Because if you're taking a victim mindset, you're not a God. Listen, this is like that term sovereign citizen, oxymoron. Because either when you're sovereign, that means you're God. You're master of self. When you're a citizen, you're a slave. That means somebody is controlling you. You're under someone. So if you're saying you're a God, you're a master of self. But you can't be a victim and a God. Because a victim is a slave. A victim is going to blame somebody else. So if you're all in your anger, you're all in your emotions, you're claiming victimhood. You're claiming victimhood. And another thing about being angry, and so y'all want to pay attention, this is a game. This is a game, gods. This is a game. You're here in this dimension for a reason. There are energies that you put out. And so what you want to do is learn to gain control of your energies that you're putting out if you're trying to exit the game or go to another level. Now, understand this, gods. Understand this. I said this is a game, just like any other game or any other sport. If you're angry, you're going to get your butt kicked. You can't play this game being angry because you can't see past your emotions. So a lot of us are stuck in our emotions, and we're not recognizing that this energy over here that we're seeing is simply an energy that we created. But if you all upset and pissed off and you're refusing to recognize that it's something that you could have created, then you're gonna keep circling back in the game. You're gonna keep losing. You're gonna do. What's that? When you lose a man, and you gotta start all over from the beginning. Yeah. So we got to get control of our emotions. That's how we got to learn how to balance it, recognize what we're seeing on this end. This is why that whole phrase, turn the other cheek, comes up. And we're not saying just to ignore someone when they're doing something to you or disrespectful, but how do we respond as a righteous God? Are you going to be an angry God and just come down? Listen, because we can do that. We can just come down on these people's head. And when you do that, you better recognize you're going to circle back in here. You're going to circle back because you're not recognizing that you are the God creating the energy. Once we start to get to that point, then that's when you really start to turn your whole dimension. Now, let me see. I think I've had some questions. I want to take some questions real quick, and then we're going to let Princess come and reset. Yeah, Shakira says, I'm learning this to not return negative energy. It's hard for me. Yes, it's hard. When people come at you, you want to buck. We're gods and we are all equal, but when I go back in history, it's saying something about the invaders and how they weren't pure and mixed with other animals. No? Okay. Thank you for that question, Sunshine. Yes. So let me get on some history with respect to that question. All right. So now, because y'all talk about invaders, y'all think the invaders were the Albion. Those weren't the Albion didn't invade. We invaded their territory. So let's make this clear about what really happened in history. And y'all can go do some research. I'm gonna give y'all take notes, pay attention, because I'm ready to go do some history with in accordance with what Sunshine asked. All right, so here we go. Now, we're talking about the Americas, and I'm telling you the perspective from the Americas. There were the original people, your copper-colored people here in the Americas. Your original people were the Washita Moors, M-U-U-R-S, not those stinking, excuse me, M-O-O-R-S, M-U-U-R-S, all right? Those were the original people. Though the Mur, M-U-U-R, stood for people who came from the land of Lemuria. All right. So now, with those original people of the land, when they were here, these other dark-skinned, melanated folks from a land known as Africa. Today, back then it wasn't Africa. Back then, at some point it was Asia, and then it went to Ethiopia, and then it went to Europe. But now we know it today as Africa. All right. So there were people that came into this land. Some of them, we know them as Hebrew Israelites or whatever. It's, look, I'm not going back because, yeah, we all could be the same people. But one of the things we know is that there were a people that came from another land that we know as Africa today. Let's start there. Now, with this happened, we're just talking about the 1500s. That's what we're talking about. The 1500s, where these people came in and they were dark-skinned, melanated folks. Now, at this time, the Albion was supposedly created in what we know as South America, what we know as today as modern-day Argentina. All right. There's no wonder. Listen, there's no wonder why Argentina is mostly Albions down there. It's mostly Albions. Melanated folks make up less than 1% of the people in Argentina. So what happened is, supposedly these Albions were created in South America, which Argentina, and by melanated folks. They were shipped, supposedly the temperature was too hot for them. They couldn't take the atmosphere. So they were sent to a place that was colder and wetter. All right. We know of these places as like Europe today, and wherever they were sent to these places that were colder and wetter. Now, at that time, they weren't known as Europe. They were known as Africa. All right. Y'all go do some research on this. The names have changed of that land over there so many times. Now, what happened is once they were sent out and they started to multiply, melanated folks start going and grabbing them up and using them as slaves. They started going and grabbing them up and using, who are these melanated people? Your Moors of Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, Tripoli, Montezuma. They were kidnapping these Albions. They were subjugating them, discombobulating them, treating them as slaves, and shipping them. Now, we can go to look up white slaves in America. You can go and look up all kind of documentation to understand what the Moors were doing. Go and look up the Barbary treaties and find out who these Barbary folks were. They were barbarians, barbaric people. Who were these barbaric people? The people of Tunis, Algiers, Tripoli, Montezuma, Morocco, because these were people who were engaged in piracy and just stealing people's ships. All right, so go look that up. And what were they selling on these ships? Slaves. Who were these slaves? These were Albions. These wasn't no melanated folks. And so to get to Sunshine's question, when they started bringing these people into the land, these were the ones who were known as black. These were the ones who were known as Negro and colored, African, because that's what that land that we know as Europe today, that was originally Africa. This is why the Moors, your Moors and your people who know better, even people from the land known as Africa, they won't take that term African on. Why? What you got a problem? See, y'all be wondering why they claim a nation. They claim a nation because they know that the term is a negative, derogatory term. African is a derogatory term. It has to do with some kind of slave state. Even you talk about these Moors and Noble Drew Ali, he wouldn't call himself African. Why? Why is they claiming, oh, we Morocco, we from Moroccan, we Morocco? Well, Morocco is in Northern Africa. Why wouldn't y'all take on the name African? Well, because it's a slave term. It originally was applied to the Albion, who were the slaves. All right. So y'all bringing them in here. And this is why to this day, listen, Sunshine made note of that they were mixed with other beings. They were mixed with other beings. This is why they were never supposed to be citizens of the United States of America. Till this day, when y'all go and read that census, and this is not, let me tell y'all something. I love my Albion friends. I love them. So don't y'all get this twisted. I need to say this. I'm just telling y'all the facts of the history, and I'm going to tell it on everybody. Not only the Albion, but the melanated woman, the melanated male, and all this mess that's going on. We need to clear this up. So y'all, y'all want to be guides. Y'all need to know the true history. So when we're in here and again, the Albion is known to be mixed with other beings. Till this day, science will show you that, yeah, these are a being that when 7 to 10% other DNA in their vessel. All right. The phenomenon where a human will be born with a tail, that does not happen with your dark-skinned people, because there's something in the melanin that will not see the beings. I talked about these vessels and how they were created. The beings that created these vessels were constantly trying to mix DNA and swap it. This is where you got the Bigfoot and the the Neanderthal and all these other variations of the quote unquote human. Well, they was trying to mix these vessels with all kind of other animals, and there's something in the carbon and the melanin that will not allow this phenomenon. So as they phased out purposely, so this is why we talk about the Albion. This is not something that just happened, or they went up to the mountains and it was cold up there, so they lost their color. No, that ain't how that happened. Science will show you that this was a specific mutation that did not just happen. Somebody specifically went in and tampered with the DNA to phase out the melanin and create a lighter skinned being. In doing that, then this allowed them to mix it with other beings. All right. So I talked about this because we can see also this when we go and look up the SF-181 form. It gives, yes, an experiment, sunshine. It gives, these vessels are an experiment. All of this is an experiment. So, but when you look up that SF-181 form, it gives you other evidence to show that, yeah, the Albion was never supposed to be a citizen of the U.S. because till this day, see, they calling themselves white when originally the true white people were your people of Tunis, Algiers, Tripoli, Montezuma, your people coming over here as Moors from other places. Those were the white people, your original people of the land, your copper color people calling themselves black and African American. And they're the ones who were the original quote unquote Indians of the land. And when you look on that SF-181 form, yeah, you okay, if you're from Africa, if you're from the Middle East, if you're from original Europeans. Let me tell you about the original Europeans, because what these people, these stories will say, and y'all need to pay attention and take notes. These stories are going to tell you that, the Europeans came in and the Europeans did this to the original people of the land. Well, guess what? Them Europeans were dark-skinned. They were not Albions. Who were the original Europeans? Morocco, Tunis, Algiers, Tripoli, Montezuma, Britain. Those were your original Europeans, not the Albion. That's why they call them Indo-Europeans now. Oh, what the original Europeans were melanated people. So it was the melanated people that came here and enslaved the original people of the land. Not the Albion. They weren't doing that. When they got here, they were slaves originally. Is history not telling you this? Because y'all need to go and look it up. Look up the Barbary Treaties and see. People be asking me, well, what book? Let me tell you something. I do research. I'm going to read the actual documents. I want to go and hear my ancestors speak. I don't want to hear somebody's opinion and their slanted view of what happened. No, when you go and read the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution and these Barbary treaties and the treaties that came before 1777, and you're reading them, not somebody's snippet about, okay, this is about this. No, I don't want to hear that. Give me the actual document. Then you really start to see what happened and all the trickery that came in here with these so-called, and see, Britain was one of the first people that were in here, and now they were amalgamated Moors, dark-skinned people. And when I say Moors, I'm using that term, but Moor just means someone who sailed on a ship. Somebody who sailed on it, that's what Moor means. And Moor does not have nothing to do with the original people of this land. And Moor came from a term that dealt with people who did a job on a ship. Look up mooring, M-O-O-R-I-N-G and M-O-O-R-E-D, and you find out that moor is a verb, and it had nothing to do with color of skin. And you can look that up for yourself. Because even the Moors will tell you, oh, well, there were Albion Moors. Well, then what the hell are you talking about? It's got to do with color skin then. It got nothing to do with color skin. It had to do with a job done on a ship. So, then what we find out, again, just getting back to the question, and I'm finishing up the question. Yes, originally, they were never supposed to be citizens of the United States of America because the ancestors who created them full well knew that they were not fully human. They were not fully human. And so that was the big civil rights fight that they don't tell you about. See, I'm going to go into this and then we're going to get back to it. When you're looking at that flag with the cross on it, that was Indians' flags. Was that the Confederate flag? That was Indians' flag. That didn't have nothing to do with Albion people. They sitting up here flying that flag around, and that flag represents the people who was trying to keep them enslaved. Y'all, I mean, when you start getting the true history, it becomes funny what you're seeing out here today. That flag was an Indian flag, quote unquote Indian, original American flag. I belong to the people of the land who was trying to keep the Albion enslaved and keep them from being a citizen. Y'all gonna get this game. If you're gonna be a guide, you're going to need to know all this information. You're going to need to know all the laws, because ignorance of the law is no excuse. And what laws are we talking about? We're talking about these universal laws right here. Y'all need to get you one of these. If you don't have a set, y'all need to order a set. So, because what we do is we give these to people so that they can know the law. The more people know these laws, the easier it is for all of us to stand as gods that we are. Y'all got to know these laws, and you got to understand what it is to walk in that light, because now you don't have any more excuses. And some people, they are so comfortable with their excuses that they don't want to come out of it. I get it. But then you're just a victim. So go sit in the corner and be quiet and just take the energy that you're putting on yourself. All right, Princess.
Ow. Grand Rising once again, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Diva. This is a great lesson. The angry God, you know, you grunt, you groan, and then everything start grunting and groaning back at you. You're like, what in the world's going on here? But yeah, so we want to thank you all for joining us this morning in the UNA Law Club on Clubhouse and present and live on Facebook. We want to thank you for hitting the ping button in our group here on Clubhouse. Make sure you just click on that plus sign, ping, ping, ping away, and invite as many friends as you can into this morning's discussion. We are speaking live with Diva Laree on Oh God, You Devil You, dealing with the law of return, the law, universal law of duality. When Diva's finished speaking, good morning, Patrice, welcome. When Diva's finished speaking, you're welcome to come up and ask any questions, add to the conversation. Just raise your hands, we'll bring you on stage. At that time, please mute your mic and await a moment to be called upon. Once called upon, you are free to speak. Let us know you're done by saying, I'm complete, I'm done speaking, that's my question, or that's all I had to say, some way. But yeah, we thank you again for joining us. Back to you. Oh, no, wait a minute. Make sure you have your pen and your notebooks handy. There's information that you may need to research and pay attention. Thanks, Diva. Back to you.
Princess, wake yourself up.
I am looking for my coffee right now.
All right.
I was telling the guys this morning before you came in, Diva, I said my right eye was having a fight with my left eye, and one was saying open, the other one was saying no. Clint says, which one won? I said the open one. Okay, back to you.
Thank you, Princess. All right, so now, this is what I want to get in, what I want to go on. All right, so we've talked about, understanding that you are creating everything in your dimension. That's very important, because somebody said second time around. I think that was, who was that said that? Somebody said second time around. Divine, you think you only been here twice? You think you only been here twice? You've been here way more than that. And so we got to recognize we've been in and out and in and out, and we've got all kind of spiritual baggage tied to us. And so as we start to recognize this, it's like, okay, now we can, come to an understanding of what it is that we need to do to clear this up and go on to another level. I want to get into these vessels and what they are. And I also want to get into this flat earth and round earth deal. All right. Because today we're talking about, oh God, you devil, you. And what we're saying is, yes, we are all gods, but everything has duality. And if you are a God, you are also the devil. You can't, what we have to remember is we're not blaming things on someone else. So we want to take credit for, the good things, I did this, I put this energy out, so I got this good thing back. And then when something bad comes upon us, we want to blame it on, that was the devil that did that. Or, God makes things happen. Yeah. You bringing that. All right. So now, in understanding that and recognizing, who we are and how we walk, it's important to recognize these laws. I talked about this again. We have, this is our currency, by the way. Y'all see those two seals? This is actual currency. And, money or currency, you got two seals and two signatures. That makes money. All right. These are the universal laws, and they are highly valuable that we put in this. We also have one with the hierarchy of laws, too, similar to this. But what I want to talk about is we're talking about the law of duality, or also known as the law of polarity. And I'm going to read this again. Universal law of polarity deals with all things possess the ability to be positive or negative, depending on the mind using said things. A knife can be a tool to help or a weapon to harm. Everything has duality. Everything has two sides, a front and a back. Everything has duality in this dimension. And so what we have to recognize in understanding that is that, if you're saying, oh, I'm a God, then there's always that other side, that shadow side, or whatever you want to call it. Now, I wanted to get into this with, speaking of duality. I get a lot of people that ask me, Diva, is it a flat earth or is it a round earth? Which one is it? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, what, Diva? Yeah, it's a flat earth and it's a round earth. Well, what does that mean? All right, so let's understand this. All right. Everything, first of all, understand that everything we've been told about this earth being round is a lie. All right, and you start doing your research, you find out real clear and real fast that it's a lie. When they telling you that this is a round surface that we're on, and you on the top of the surface, and it's rotating and all of that. Okay, all you got to do is go out to the water and look for an arc in that water. Go out and look at the land and look for the land to arc. See, if they're telling you that the earth is a certain circumference, it's supposed to curve 1 point something inches every mile. I want you to go and look at a horizon and see how many miles that is and show me a curve. You won't find one. All right. The deal is the surface is flat because you're not on the earth. You're in it. What am I talking about? See, I'm going to go into this ancient scripture stuff that we talk about. All right, this ancient scripture stuff. See, they want you to believe. All right, I'm going to draw my little stick figures. Because, I know, my people in Clubhouse, Patrice and Curtis and Clint and Jason, sorry about that. I normally use visual aids, especially talking about this stuff. But let's say this is the earth. They want you to believe you here on the earth. Never mind that little hump in the earth. Don't. I'm the greatest artist there is. They want you to believe this is what's going on with this circle and you're on top of the planet. But really, this is what's going on. Now, let me show y'all what it is. Now, you know there's a dome. They tell you about the Van Allen radiation belt. All of ancient scripture. All of ancient scripture is telling you about this ark that's over the earth. Even when they talk about the ancient goddess Nut, N-U-I-T, look her up, where they're telling you about this firmament or this dome. All right, yeah, you in a big old snow globe. You know that globe, they take it, they shake it, and then the little snow starts falling down. Yeah, that's you in a dome. All right, just like this. All right, so there's a planet. What the word plane is in the word planet. They've been telling you there's a plane. Again, there's all kind of etymological evidence. There's physical evidence. There's scientific evidence. There's legal evidence. There's biblical evidence telling you that it's flat. Now, you believe what you want to believe, but I'm going to show you some things. The land that you're on is flat, but this is what you're in. This dome. All right. Now, I talked about everything having two sides. Two sides to everything. There's duality. So if that is the case, then this is the case. It's round. There's a dome on the other side. If this is a plane, if this is the plane that we're on, that plane has to have another side. If that plane has another side, I'm going to show y'all something because it's going to probably flip you out and freak you out. Y'all understanding what I'm saying? This is a plane that you're on. This has been proven, the firmament, that there's a firmament around us, a dome. Yeah, it's round, just like this. And it's also flat because you're not on it, you're in it. If this is the top side of this planet or this dome, this plane has to have another side. By law, I'm just telling you what the law says. And if the law is true, then it's going to apply. You can apply it on a macro level and a microscopic level. So there has to be another side to this plane. So if this is the dome here, then there's got to be one here by law. Yes, it's flat and it's round. Do I have any questions on that? I know I just lost everybody on that. I know. Y'all still with me? Y'all got your coffee yet? Anybody?
It's flat under my feet, but it's I stand in a circumference.
Yeah. Now I'm just telling you what all of the ancient scriptures tell you. There's a firmament. Hell, I mean, you got the damn spaceship.
The sound barrier. You think?
Let me hold on a second. You got this spaceship that it goes up, and then y'all ever watch the spaceship? Because some of y'all still think they went to the moon. Some of y'all still think they went to the moon. That spaceship goes up and it curves back. It curves back.
I think it.
Because it can't get outside of the firmament. It can't get outside of the firmament. There's a dome. All right. So you're not on it, on the earth. You're in it. So I'm sorry. What'd you say? Sound barrier, Princess?
Yeah, I was thinking like breaking the sound barrier. They speak of that sound barrier which they were just saying is like the dome you can't pierce. Yeah.
Okay, that's another topic we'd have to get into. But yeah, as far as but yeah, I mean, I can't speak on that. But as far as the firmament, there is a firmament. You can see things like the way the what do you call those? The rainbows. You know, rainbows, they have that arc. Well, there's something they're reflecting off of. There's all kind of evidence showing you that, first of all, the land is flat. And second of all, there's a firmament and it's in an arc. All right. Now, by law, we know that if there's a firmament and the land is flat, that it has to have another side. It has to have another side. It's a reflection. We are a reflection. Everything you see is a reflection. And then we are a reflection of something else on a macroscopic level. All right. McQueen's in the house. The Rock El Bay is in the house. Who else is in the house? We got, I want to thank everybody for joining. Sunshine, Al Tariq, Regina. Let's see. Now, if y'all have any questions, please put them in and let me know. Divine, thank you for joining us.
I have a question.
Yes, come on, Clint Casey. Chandra, thank you for joining us.
My question is this. Is the sun and the moon inside the dome or outside the dome?
Okay. Thank you, Clint. Is that it?
Yes, that's it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, so now the sun and the moon are, according to what we have seen, they are inside the dome, but they're not entities that you're just going to land on. They're like forces. They're not those type of entities where they try to make you think, you're going to take a trip to the moon and just land on it. It's not that kind of entity. And from what I'm understanding, this is like a fifth dimensional object. So you're not just going to land on that thing and by the way, see, I was asking somebody, I was like, have you seen any of these other planets that they're talking about? See, I go into this in a couple of my different sessions about what these planets really are. Have you seen any up in the sky? You can see the stars. But you can't, the stars are far, far away and they're so far away. But then, well, what are these planets that y'all keep talking about? Jupiter and Neptune and all these, what are those planets? I ain't seen not now one of those in the sky. Notice they call them planets, planes. They're planes. And so, yeah, when we're talking about the sun and the moon, they're supposedly within the dome. However, they are not entities that you can just go and land on. They are more fifth dimensional entities. And there are other celestial objects in space that we don't know about. I'm not getting into that today. There are other celestial objects in space that we don't know about that are present. We know they're present, but we can't see them. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of lies that we're being told about, what we're looking at with respect to the sun and the moon. They're not as far away as we're being told. And they're not entities that you're just going to go and land on. Thank you, Regina, for sharing the video. Y'all like and share. Thank you, Regina. I hope y'all are, getting something from this. Thank you for that question. I had another question. Let me see if I can find this. Part of the confusion is that people lump the Phoenicians, Jews, and the Moors in one basket. Al Tariq, we can talk about that. One day you join us on Clubhouse and we'll go into the difference between the two. Thank you, Chandra. Let's see.
Sunshine was asking who was on the other side.
Yes, Sunshine. Yes, that's a great question. Who's on the other side? Probably your reflection. Probably your reflection is over there. Half the time, they hurt themselves more than you retaliating. Okay, Kiel said something great. Now, I want to talk about this, what Kiel says. I'm going back to what we're talking about when we're talking about retaliating and not retaliating. When somebody's putting an energy on you, and especially if it's a negative energy, what you have to recognize is that they are going to receive that energy back. You don't want to put that energy out on them. All right. So yeah, when they put it out, know for certain. See, this is one of the great things about, knowing you're a God. One of the great things is when somebody puts an energy out on you, you already know for certain what they're getting back, because they have to get it back. If they've been a jerk to you or disrespectful to you, they have to get it back. They can't not get it back by law. So one of the things is, sometimes let that be your ability, your key to laugh about the situation. And then also recognize that the only reason why you getting that energy is because you put it out somewhere. I get it all the time. I get it all the time. I know. It's like if I put out an energy over here, it's like, oh boy. I already know that I'm going to receive something back. I mean, I've had it, all the time. And so one of the things is I'm learning to, again, control that. This side over here. This is the physical side. Once you get the spiritual side cleaned up, all of this side has to match. It's got to come into order. And if over here you put out an energy, you're going to get it back on this side. Just know it. So if you don't want it on this side, make sure you don't put it out over here, and everything over here has got to disappear. Don't block people from getting things over here on this side, because you're going to get blocked over here. Why are they hating on me? Why are they good? Because you was hating on somebody else. Make sure that the whole thing when they say when you shine the light on other people, the light has to be shined on you. That's why this is very important. So if you want favor over here, if you want love over here, if you want money over here, you got to put it out on this side. And it comes back. See, this is the other thing, the law of they call it reciprocity. But this is one of my favorite laws. It's called the law of attraction, or law of compensation. Law of compensation. When the universe returns something to you, it don't return to you one on one. No, you put one out over here, you're going to get many over here. So it's like when you plant a seed. Listen, nature mimics what the universal laws say. That's all it does. So when you plant a seed in nature, you're going to get many seeds back. So you plant one energy over here, it's going to come back to you manyfold. $1 is an energy. Love is an energy. Kindness is an energy. You put some kindness over here, you're going to get it over here manyfold. That's how all of this stuff is mimicking. Nature mimics what the universal laws say. All right? Not the other way around. Nature comes from the universe. It's not the other way around. So whatever you see going on in nature, recognize that it's just mimicking what the universe says. All right. Thank you for that. Let me see if I have any other questions. Thank you, Secure. Let's see. I'm just trying to see if I have any questions. Living in my family through me, or taught me how to do what you speak of. At times it makes me feel weak and soft in my spirit, but I see it now. Thank you, Kiel, for that. Let's see. I'm just checking my messages. And Altariq, once again, I would love to break this down, the difference between the Phoenicians, the Jews, and the Moors. Yeah, because he says sometimes they get clumped into one basket. But what I do know is that a lot of them and a lot of their ways come from each other. I sound barbaric. The sound barbaric or sonic barrier is the sudden increase in aerodynamic drag and other undesirable effects experienced by an aircraft on other objects when... Okay, but I don't know how that pertains to this subject. UNA, thank you, though. Thank you. I needed to hear this about energies placed on us. Thank you, Shakir. Or let it be your key to change what you do and your actions because you put the energy out. Yes, Sunshine, thank you so much. What about Lemurians? Hey, Quan, Thank you for joining us, Grand Rising Quan and Jason. What about Lemurians, Quan? Now, so for those of you who are wondering, when we're talking about the land of Lemuria, according to my research, there was a land before the flood that sat between what we know as the Americas and China. Lemuria was that land that sat between what we know as China and the Americas. And then Atlantis sat between what we know as the Americas and Africa. According to my research, that there was Atlantis and then there was Lemuria. And they sat on the opposite side of the Americas. The Lemurians supposedly are the ones that came into the land that we know as America. And they were the ones that were known as the Washita Mirrors. Hello, Mason. All right, so now, did y'all have any other questions on that? Yeah, if y'all got any questions. Princess, you have any questions?
No questions, just another reference for that is Mu.
Yeah.
The lost civilization of Mu.
Yeah.
James, I believe James Upward or Churchward. Churchwood was the author of a series of books on Mu, sacred symbols, tracing them. It was also called the Land of the West. And yeah, that's a great reference.
Excellent.
A lot of people don't talk about the Mu side. You'll hear a lot about Atlantis. So that's great.
Thank you, Princess.
Thank you.
Do I have any? Quan says Quan has that book. Let's see. All right. So now, do I have any other questions? I found 2 dimes on my nature walk. 10-10. All right, Regina. Big money. All right. Now, you can buy that new car you always wanted. Let's see. You can plant seeds with your mouth. Thank you, Sunshine. Let's get into that. What we're speaking. When I spoke about how we want to, act, but what we have to also recognize is your thought is a seed as well. Your thought is an energy. So when you think something, you have already created a force within this third dimension. And I go through showing that. This is why they tell you to meditate. This is why you're told to meditate and think of nothing, because your thoughts are so incredibly powerful. I do an exercise, especially when we had our retreat, where I show how just you thinking manifest in the third dimension. And also, when you're thinking something, you don't even have to speak. We can see your thoughts with this exercise. We can see what you're thinking. And so in saying that, I'm letting you know how truly powerful your thoughts are, your every thought. And you want to be careful with what you're thinking. Now, the fact that your thoughts are powerful, your words are powerful as well. We're going back to the biblical scriptures. It says, in the beginning, there was the Word. And the Word was God. And the Word was with God. Okay, what they're telling you is how powerful your words are. And so we got to remember and recognize the power of our words, because you speak things into existence when you say it. So when you're using your affirmations, especially in the morning that we talk about, when you're using your affirmations and when you say I am, refrain from using words like not, because we can't live. Now I'm saying not. We live in the future. We live in the future, not even the present. You live in the future. And so when you are speaking, you want to make sure that your words, I am, always have something powerful behind them. Be careful about, using words like, I don't even like to say it. Some of y'all use some negative words behind that word, I am. And I've had some friends that I've had to catch with that. It's like, what do you mean calling yourself this? What do you mean saying this negative thing about yourself? And I know they might think it as it's a joke, but that's very powerful. When you're saying broke, you're using the phrase broke behind it, dumb, silly, stupid, idiotic. People, you want to be careful about your words because they're very powerful. So again, when you think it, it's already a power in itself. And then when you speak it, it has to be, because you're creating a law when you talk. That's why then when you write it down, when you use your pen, you have given it flesh. This is why I talk about being very careful about what you're writing on these social media. Some of y'all are so very negative about your people, and you're saying these disrespect. I know they aggravate you. I know they're upsetting to you, but you want to, again, as a God, when you're upset and aggravated like that, and there's something that you want to change, use your words to change it. Oh, my people, boy, my people gonna learn how to get it right. Instead of being negative, oh, my people, we getting there, because we are. I can't tell you, I couldn't speak this stuff 5 years ago. I couldn't speak this information to people 5 years ago. I knew it, but I couldn't say it because, everybody wanted to come at me some kind of way. And I recognized I was creating that energy. So I was like, nah, you know what? We getting it. We waking up, and we are. So I know a lot of people think, oh, we losing the battle. We out of the game. No. We in good position. We winning this game because we learning not to be angry in what we're looking or seeking. We're learning to not be angry because it's a game. We winning it because we're getting our mind right. Do I have any other questions? Thank you for that comment. Right. Saying I am not means like saying I am mean. Yeah, so thank you, Sunshine. So let me go even a little bit more into that, because when we say, because a lot of people wonder, well, what do you mean we can't live in the not? Okay. You got to understand that it is your subconscious that is creating everything in your dimension. Your subconscious creates all of this in your dimension. And I need to go back. Even when I was talking about how your mind reflects, or everything in your third dimension reflects what's in your mind. And we can see what you're thinking. When you can see, go to somebody where somebody lives. You're seeing what's in their mind. All right, you're seeing what they're driving, where they're living. You're seeing what's in their mind. And what that means is, hold on, let me make sure I answer this question. Okay, so what you're doing is you're seeing what they have thought in their mind. And so when you're living in the not, or when you're trying to live in the not, what your subconscious is doing is creating what you said. Okay, let me give you an example. There's a difference between saying peace and nonviolence. All right? They're not the same. Peace and nonviolence are not the same. When you say peace, your subconscious hears peace. But when you say nonviolence, your subconscious hears violence. Are you understanding? The subconscious doesn't know the word not. So what you don't want to do is keep talking about the things that you don't want. You want to talk about what you do want. So instead of talking about I am not this, because every time you say not this, your subconscious is going to give you this. I'm not there. I said not. No, your subconscious is like, yeah, that's what you are. You said that. What you keep saying that. What you told me you want, I'm going to give it to you. If you want peace, if you want paradise, if you want love, talk about that. Don't be over here, I am not hate, and I am not dissatisfaction, and I am not negative. You are. Everything you said you not is what you are. That's what your subconscious sees. So you've got to recognize that. And again, also recognize that what people are thinking. When you enter their dimension and their domain, you're entering their mind. You're entering, and when you enter their house, you're entering their mind, because they have created everything in their dimension. So these are like, this is just taking things to another level that we haven't looked at. And some of y'all, I hope you recognize this, because now when you look around where you are in your house, then you can change your mind. Change it. If you don't like what you see, okay, you know what? Because women do that all the time. Women are good for that, rearranging some stuff and like, you know what? I don't lie, I want this over there. I'm going to move this over there. And then they get men to do the moving. Because we know it's all about the feminine energy. All right, let me see if y'all have any other questions. I am peace, I am love, I am paradise. Yes, sunshine. Sunshine. I got sunshine on my mind. I got sunshine all the time. All right, let me see. Word goes back to verbum, essentially name, but an action dynamic. Thank you, Al Tariq. I want you to come on Clubhouse with us, Al Tariq, and let's have a conversation. If not, we're going to do a Zoom with you one day. The universe does not understand the word not. That's right, sunshine. Princess, let us do this setup. That's law. When you think something, it has to come to pass. That's right, sunshine. Thank you. The Sphinx is a representation of Queen Mu. Thank you, Al Tariq. All right, come on, Princess.
I was reflecting on the scripture in the Bible that says, "Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight." And I bet Patrice has something that she'd like to offer on this subject. I don't know if her hands are tied, or but Patrice, if you do have something you'd like to share on the law of duality, we welcome your input. So be sure to raise your hand and we'll bring you up. Thank you again for joining us, everyone. UNA Law Club, Facebook, Clubhouse. We are in the house on this lovely Tuesday, early morning.
Early.
Not as early as it could be, but early as it is for me.
Early.
We are speaking with Diva Laree from UNA University. Our topic today is the universal law of duality, entitled, "Oh God, You Devil You." We want to thank you for lending your time, your mind, and your energy to the space today. We ask you to take notes, do the research. Any information that you hear that comes contrary to something that you thought, believe, or have heard before, look it up. Do the research so you know for yourself what is being shared is true. We thank you again. If you're in the Clubhouse and have something you'd like to say, we invite you to raise your hand. We'll bring you up to the stage. At that time, you can speak when called upon. So once you're on stage, do mute your mic and wait for the speaker, Diva Laree, to call upon you, at which time you're open your mic and speak. Let us know you're done speaking by saying, "I'm complete, I'm finished, that's it, that's my piece, that's my question." Some way to let us know you're done, and then we'll get back to you with our answers or receive your comments. If you haven't done so already, there's a little plus sign down in the right-hand corner on Clubhouse. Click that plus sign and ping, 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 ping away as many as you can to join us in this morning's conversation. Once again, thank you for joining us here. If you're on Facebook, be sure to comment in the comment section, as we're doing already. And any questions you have, do the same. Go ahead and post them there. We'll get to your question as soon as we can. Thank you so much. Make sure you have a pen and a notebook and pay attention. Gonna give it back to Diva.
Thank you, Princess. Pay attention. All right, so now listen. What we're doing is I want to recap, and I want to give you all the opportunity to, ask questions. I want to hear from you. I want to know your thoughts, and I want to thank everybody for joining us this morning. Thank y'all for waking up. I love me some Facebook. I love my Facebook folk. I love y'all. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. All right, so now we're recapping. Oh God, you devil. Now, we're remembering that we are the creators of all of the energies that come into our dimension. We have to just remember and recognize that when an energy is coming at us, we don't want to keep being angry. I mean, it's natural that, when somebody get us, but when we calm down, when you calm down and you sit back and relax and ask the universe, where did this energy come from? All right, remember that the energy this person who's putting the energy out is only returning it from where you put it out over here with someone else. So it doesn't come, right away. It's an energy. It's just like a seed. You plant a seed. I told you, when you're putting energies out over here, it's like planting a seed. It doesn't come back automatically, immediately, right away. But normally with these energies, a lot of times you're going to see them 4 to 7 days down the line. Within 4 to 7 days, at least, it takes for them to come back. This is my experience. I do this all the time. I actually put energies out purposely to see them come back. And so when you start learning to do that, you'll understand what's really going on when you see an energy on this side. Sometimes we don't even recognize we put out an energy over here. We might be angering somebody or being disrespectful to somebody, and we don't recognize. I mean, there have been times where you're saying something to someone and they are being annoyed. You don't have a clue because you're just being you. But then you got to get this energy over here. And this energy is making you feel exactly how you made that other person feel. This is yourself. You understand your own triggers. You giving yourself this trigger. So the spirits recognize when you're giving out an energy. Over here, when you receive it, you need to recognize, oh, who did I make feel the way that this person made me feel? This is how you start to gain control of the energies that you're putting out and what you're receiving and recognizing. See, this is the universe talking over here. Look, what's done in the dark will come to the light. That's a universal law. So when you're getting this energy, you gotta step back, because you can't play this game angry. You're gonna get your butt kicked. You ever seen a boxer in the ring that's mad? They get the beat down. All right, you don't want to be that boxer. All right, so you got to gain control of your emotions. When you see this energy over here, recognize that it is an energy that you put out somewhere else. When you clean it up on this side, this energy got to go away. When you clean it up on the spiritual side, we talk about repenting. And first of all, recognizing, and then repenting and apologizing, really, to the spirits. Whoever may feel that way, I apologize. I apologize, and I don't want to ever make anybody feel the way that this person or this energy made me feel. Because you did it. The only reason why you're receiving it is because you put it out somewhere. And remember, as a God, you've been here many times. Not 2 times. This ain't your second time. You've been here. You've been doing this thing. So now let's get it right so we can go to another level. All right? So that's what we're talking about being both sides. So if you are the God, you are also the devil. Everything has duality. Everything has duality. There's 2 sides to every coin. 2 sides to every issue. As is above, so is below. As is within, so is without. These are laws. They're universal laws. When you learn how to understand them, then you start to hear the universe speak and understand the language, because she's constantly speaking to us. All right? And just recapping on that. Recapping on this whole flat earth, round earth. Yeah, both. Flat earth and round earth. Yeah, it's both. And we spoke about why. If you didn't see it, go back, catch the video. But if you have any questions, I'd love to go into it for you. And remembering that I need to say this. We got to know the history. We've got to know etymology. We've got to recognize these universal laws. Because these man's law becomes child's play, because everything man does has to go through the universe. I don't give a care how evil or how whatever. Everything they do must go through the universe. Everything. And when you recognize that, then you learn how to play the game. All right? So getting back on that, I'm just recapping because I want y'all to ask me questions, because we're coming up on that 9 o'clock hour. And y'all can catch us here every Tuesday, 7 a.m. for now. 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And then on Thursdays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. All right. And this, what else did I need to recap on?
UNA Love Market, Love Notes.
All right, yes. Y'all get your love notes from UNALoveMarket.com. UNALoveMarket.com. Go there and get your love notes. Listen, we're building here at UNA. We've got the UNA app coming out. We've got the, Love Market is it's a market for, it's a trading platform as well. We've got the investment platform, Love Wallet, coming out. We're just having a lot of fun, and we're building with each other. So we thank you all for your support. Let's see. Do I have any questions? Let's see. Thank you, Regina, for joining. Regina says she needed to hear this. Thank you for joining. Al Tariq says, sorry, fellas, the Sphinx is a woman. Shakira says he loves it when I sing. You do. Thank you so much. I appreciate the love. I am almost in tears. Thank you, Diva. You and America. Thank you, Secure, for joining us. All right. Did y'all, Prince, Patrice, Clint, Jason, Prince, did y'all have anything y'all want to add or join in here?
No, I was just thinking of that song, I Am Woman. when I saw what's that, Tariq's comment about the sorry that thinks is a woman. Yeah, Brother El Tariq. or I don't know, I think it's a male. Powerful stuff this morning. I appreciate you for coming and bringing this before us this day. As above, so below, and words being seeds. It's good to be aware. That what's the duality of me? I stand, I fall, I lay, I roll, I flip, I flop. I mean, everything there's two poles or two extremes. You can go to one or be somewhere in between the one or the other. So when I look at myself, I can see my good side. And this is something we all can bear witness to if we don't understand it in the form of the law of duality, is you see your goods and your bads or not so goods, your negatives. I have on occasion accused myself of being dumb. I'm so dumb, and not even being aware that I'm putting myself down. Even with our affirmations, we have to be aware what we're affirming. Are we affirming to the positive, or are we affirming to the negative? And you spoke on that. The universe does not deal in knots. So everything you say you're not doing, you will be doing, So I have wronged no one, and you're saying you're going to wrong somebody. So, just being mindful, and that's where mindfulness kicks in too. We strive to be more mindful of our daily intake, mentally and orally, that helps with our spirits. So that would be my 3 cents to contribute to the "Oh God, you devil, you" concept in the law of duality. Thanks, Diva.
Thank you, Princess. Now, I wanted to get on this yin and yang again because when we're talking about yin and yang, what we have to recognize is that there's the yin and the yang, and then there's that little curve in the middle. So there's three entities there. And what you've got to recognize is you have the ability to either be on one side or the other or stand in the middle and watch it play. Because this thing, you know, think about this, these two sides, they're constantly moving. They're constantly moving. Something that's positive at this time can turn out to be negative at another time. And something that we've seen that's seemingly negative can be positive. And it can be used as a positive. And I have so many. I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you one that I know it's a hard thing. You know, when I was in a situation where there was this woman who had been molested by her grandfather, and when she told her family, you know, her family just flipped out on her. They turned on her. You know, and of course took the side of the grandfather. They didn't want to hear it. Oh, you lying, you this, you that. And so she was at the point where she was suicidal. She was suicidal. And what ended up happening was I saw this. Now, I didn't have anything to offer on this. I didn't, you know, because I had not walked her shoes. But here comes another woman who had been there. She had, you know, lived through it, and she understood that whole situation because she had a same situation similar with her family, and she spoke life into this whole situation where I couldn't. So I say, yeah, she had been through it, and at that time it was a negative situation, but she was able to speak life into this woman who was suicidal, and that was a positive. There's nobody who could have spoken to her in that way unless they had walked through it and survived that whole situation. So I say to you, yeah, it's negative that we go through these things. But remember, there's an energy that was put out. Now, I go into some of my other sessions when we're talking about the child that goes through these bullying or molesting or all these other issues. We talk about what went on in another life because all of that is an energy. You got to come out of the thought of thinking that these beings are innocent. There's no such thing as that because we all carry karmic baggage. The Bible tells you, oh, we're all born of sin. When you're understanding what the laws are, there are no victims. What is a child? A child is an old spirit returning in a new vessel. A child is an old spirit returning in a new vessel. None of us are new here. Your child is your ancestor. Your child always was and always will be. When you give birth, you're giving birth to somebody who's older than you are. That's your ancestor. They were here before. You were here before. All right? So we got to recognize that and remember, you know, if you're talking about you're a God, then you're not a victim. And remember, you were here before. What you want to do as a God and as a responsible being is be able to look at what you did at another time. When you're ready to do that, this is when you can move forward. If you're still thinking you're a victim, if you're still trying to be angry and upset about everything, if you're still not willing to look at what you likely did as a spiritual entity, as a God, then you're not ready to move forward because you're going to move forward as a victim, and a victim can't walk as a God because a victim has no control. A victim is blaming everybody. A victim wants to be a victim wants to give its power away to somebody else. If you're standing as that, you better stand righteous. And this is why when we're talking about sovereignty and becoming a God or standing as a God, you better have integrity. Because if you think you're going to get away with doing something, see, this is why there's a government. Government means control of the mind. To govern means to control. Ment means mind. Government means to control the mind. Why is there a government? Because we have people who don't know how to govern self. When you learn how to govern self, the government has to disappear. Well, why do we have a government? Because people think they're going to steal and get away with it. People think they're going to harm people and get away with it. You don't get away with anything. The universe sees you. Only being that needs to see you is you. And even when you don't see you or know that you're seeing you, the universe sees you and is going to return every energy to you that you put out, whether it be in this lifetime or some other one. So you've got to recognize and know, if you're talking about you're a God, you better recognize you putting these energies out. You're the one who's putting it out. And you're going to get it back. If you put it out over here, it's going to come back to you. So if you're seeing it on this end and you're talking about being a God, be willing to recognize what the energy is and then clean it up on the spiritual side, and it's got to go away on this side. That's what we're learning to do. We're learning that we don't have to fight. We're learning to go back and change the past. What? See? All right. I just went deep right there. Because of the simple fact that we have been told, oh, the past is just the past. Y'all change the past every time you have an energy or an emotion. Your past is constantly changing. Your future is constantly changing. Where you go in your future is dependent on what's in your mind, what you choose to put in your mind. Where you go in your future is dependent on what you choose. I told you the real world is up here. All this stuff y'all see out here, this is the past. This out here is the past. The future, the real world is right here. Whatever you put in your mind, that's what your future is going to be. This is right here. This is the real world. Not this. This the past. And when you change your mind up here, you're changing your past. And sisters, and y'all brothers too, listen up. All these embryos that's within you, those are your ancestors. You come here with all of your ancestors riding with you. Your brothers do too, except for you push your ancestors outside your vessel. We ain't getting on. We're not going into that. But your sisters, you come here. You got all your ancestors riding with you. This is why women tend to be more spiritual. Your ancestors are constantly talking to you and communicating with you. Listen up. Listen. When you have an emotion or a feeling, your ancestors feel it. Your ancestors feel it. And when you change your way of thinking, your ancestors, they got to change too. Everything that is of you has to change. Everything that is of you has to feel it and sense it. And it has to become a part of you and your mental way of thinking, everything. So when you have an emotion, a thought, a feeling, your ancestors feel it. You have changed your past. See, every time we can change it, we travel, time travel, you do it every time you think something. You want to change the future? Change your mind. This is the real world. That's what they're not telling you. So as soon as you get that in your mind and you are recognizing that, okay, this is what I want. See, y'all gonna see my world. As a matter of fact, I show y'all my world when I'm living in my paradise. I show you where I live. When y'all see me on the beach, when you see me in my place, I'm on my balcony. I look out every morning and I see the ocean, and that's my paradise. And so what I'm saying to you is when you think it, it's going to manifest for you. What are you saying you want? What are you thinking? What are you writing on Facebook? Are you constantly saying, negative, 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 and I people this and that? Then that's what you're manifesting. Whatever you want, think it and then speak it, and so shall it be. You are the God. You are. And if your world is doom and gloom, then you the devil. Fix it. Y'all want to think, oh, you victim blaming. No, there are no victims. I just told you, once you come up out of your victim state and your victimhood, I just told you got all the power. So see, the intelligent people, the ones who really want to grow up in this game, when I say, no, it's your fault, instead of being, what you mean you blaming me, I'm the victim? The thought ought to be, wait a minute. I'm controlling this. Well, I can change it. Well, then, because see, once I got that, it's like, well, then, damn it. Well, we got to start having fun in this game. We're going to start having fun in this game. We're not going to keep playing on this level. No, we're going to take it to another level. If I'm in control of this, well, let's have some fun. And I've been having fun ever since. I want y'all to come fly with me. Do I have any questions as we get ready to close out? Jason, Clint, Princess, thank y'all for joining us this morning. Pablo, thank you, Pablo. Thank you for joining us. Divine, thank you. Y'all have any questions as we close out? Present is manifested thought. Present is manifested thought. Thank you, Divine. Correct. Everything you see in your present, this is what you thought. Everything that you're looking at, my earrings, this is the past. This came from somebody's mind. Whatever you put in your mind, that's what you're manifesting. Manifest beauty, manifest peace and paradise in your mind, and that's what you have to have.
I got a statement.
Come on, click, Casey.
It just clicked. When you said, you were talking about a little bit ago, you said your child, that's ancestors that are older than you. And my first thought was, well, I don't know, but they're at least as old. And then all of a sudden when you said, men and women carry their ancestors within them, I was like, oh, shit. And I was like, I just felt a different way. I was like, I got all of this history within myself, and I keep producing more history or past or, potential future within myself. And I'm like, when we have a lot of, shall we say, extramarital sex, are we wasting our ancestry? Are we giving part of ourselves away? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you can go really deep on this.
Yeah.
Talking about.
Yeah, because I do. Thank you, Clint. Thank you. Are we wasting or are we giving ourselves away? The term I would not say wasting. Okay. It was something you said that because when we're talking about this technology of birth, where the sperm goes into the egg, that's alien technology. I've talked to y'all about that because I meant to go into these vessels and what they are, but we only have 1 minute. But listen to what I'm saying. I talked about what these vessels and what they are. They're hybrid. All right. Really, most of you're going to be hard pressed to name a non-hybrid being. If it's a mammal, it's hybrid. All right. To this planet. And the technology of a sperm going in an egg, that is an alien technology. Now, what originally happened, like the original beings on this planet, they procreate the same way every cell in your vessel procreates. You got the cell, and then let's say you have one internal brain or whatever it is. Well, it's going to multiply. You're going to get one over here, and then it's going to pinch off and split. That's called either fission or mitosis. That's the way all of the original beings on this planet procreated. And so that's what happens, when the sperm goes into the cell, which it really should not have had to do that. That cell never should have stopped multiplying in the first place. But there are these, they're entities that have, wanted to create these vessels. We created these vessels. When I say we, it's hard for us to understand, but the beings that supposedly created these human vessels are what we know as Anunnaki. All right. Now, when we start talking about the Anunnaki, you got to remember that we are of them as well. So when the supposedly Anunnaki created these human vessels, what they ended up doing was putting their DNA in these human vessels. When you put your DNA into these vessels, you got to return as them. So I go deep into that. So we have to do that on another session, so that you understand that what I mean when I say we are them. They are us, because they had to return. So we think, oh, they took off, they left. No, they still here. And when you see things and read things and you do your research, you start to recognize who they are. Who some fractions of them are. You start to recognize who some fractions of them are, because they're still controlling the game in another form. I won't go into that because we got 0 minutes left. All right, so we're going to get out of here. I want to say I love y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate you. Dwayne, Montricky. Y'all like and share this video. I hope it was informative to you. If you all have any questions, hit me up in the inbox. I'd love to talk to you all. Y'all can join us on Clubhouse. If you have an iPhone, you can join us on Clubhouse. One day we're going to get Zoom up so we can get other people who want to come in and join us on this conversation. Regina, thank you so much for your love. And Clarence, I really want to change my nationality. You need to come to join UNA University. You can go to unauniversity.com/learn. Or if you don't want to get into that seminar, go into divalaree.com and join that Back to Basics program. And we'll get you in there so you can get all the videos and everything. How were Wichita Moors replaced with the native Indians as we know of today? How were the Wichita Moors replaced with the native Indians? That's a deep subject, Chandra. We're going to have to do a separate one on that. Divine says she's ready. Yes, Divine. We're not victims. We are not helpless. We are powerful. I would love to travel with you, Diva. All right, Regina, I'm going to Mexico. What's that? Mazatlan? Come on to Mazatlan. Let's have some fun. And you don't even need the stupid the test for the COVID crap. Present is manifested thoughts. Present is manifested thoughts. All right. So let's see. You sure did just go deep. Yeah, Sunshine. But we're gonna go even deeper next time. Y'all catch us on Thursday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And we probably, when I go to Mazatlan, it's going to be early. So I don't know if I want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. We're going to see. We're going to see. Princess, come on, close us out.
Yeah, we're in for a treat this Thursday. Let's not forget.
Yes.
Thursday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern. What's going on, Diva?
We've got Dr. Sabi's grandson
Philip Simpson.
Yeah, coming in to sit with us, and we're going to talk about his products and what he's doing, and talk about some health and all kind of stuff we got going on. So this is going to be a fun time.
Yes, yes, I am excited. Again, continuing in the subject matter, it looks like the theme is what you feast on with your eyes, your mouth, your ears, your mind is what is going to come out. What we put in is what we get back out. So I'm looking forward to that. I want to encourage everybody before you go, make sure you go to the UNA Love Market. Get yourself the Love Node. It is worth 2 troy ounces of silver. Invaluable, comes with a certificate of ownership. And if you know what that means, then you know what that means. And if you don't know what that means, you need to come to our classes. We have Back to Basics going on. Is a session that we have just completed, and you're still able to get that session by going to divalaree.com. Additionally, we have the Trust Law Basics for Business.
Yeah.
And we encourage you, if you are in business, this is a class that you want to be in. It will teach you how to privatize your business, privatize and protect your business. So come on in. Let's get it. That one you can access at unauniversity.com/learn. unauniversity.com/learn. And yes, 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 you heard it. Diva Laree is available for open sessions generally on Tuesdays, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Time. On Thursdays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And randomly through the week, we pop in as well. So we want to invite you to come on in, come on in, come on in. Be present with us, and thank you for your time and your mind this morning. Hopefully you took notes and paid attention. Back to you, Diva.
That's right. When y'all come in here, y'all better pay attention, because this is going to be important. Either you're going to pay now or you're going to pay later. You don't want to pay later. So just pay attention so we can go to another level. I love y'all. I want y'all to come fly with me. Come fly with me. We're going to see y'all next time, Thursday. As a matter of fact, Wednesday, tomorrow, we're going to have an open session. Tomorrow, from 6 to 7, we're going to have an open session. So y'all join us for that as we go into law and these lower laws, and get you straight with your business. All right. I love y'all. I'm out. Diva. Thank you, Princess. Thank you, Clint. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, everybody who's joined us in Facebook. I love you. Bye-bye.